Hey Fellowship Kids team, this Sunday, September 1st, we're beginning a new curriculum in our Fellowship Kids classes. It is called The Biggest Story. Today, I'm going to walk you through a few of the materials that accompany this curriculum so that you know what to prepare for, and then I'll give you a few specifics about Sunday, September 1st. It's an intro week, and it will look a little bit different than the weeks to follow. So, first of all, to the materials. Each classroom that is using this curriculum will have the Biggest Story Bible Storybook. There are 104 stories in here that correspond to the 104 lessons in the curriculum. There are a couple of visual aids as well. One is a video that's accessible online and is distributed to all of our teachers so you can access those. The other is a really cool set of posters that comes with the curriculum. So this is what the box looks like. And the posters themselves have an illustration on one side and the story on the other. At North Metro, the Crazy Apes and Mighty Lions will have a set of posters. At South Broadway, the Crazy Apes, Leaping Lizards, and Mighty Lions will have a set of posters that you can choose to use if you would like. As far as the lessons themselves, they'll be distributed to you online, just like lessons have been, they'll continue to be. And then the printed lesson will be in your classroom as well. So that, as far as the lesson distribution, will not change. You'll still be able to find it during the week and have a hard copy available for you on Sunday mornings. This Sunday, September 1st, as I said, is an intro week. And so our lessons themselves, we wrote internally. So they don't look like this. I'm going to show you what they do look like. For our Friendly Fish class at North Metro, and our Koalas class at South Broadway, your lesson looks like this, front and back. And this week, the Biggest Story ABC board book accompanies your lesson. So the printed lesson and the book are in your classrooms. For our older students, the Crazy Apes and then the Lizards, Lions, and Owls, your lesson looks like this. You'll get it in email form, a link in your email, and then the hard copies are also in your classrooms for you. This week in our Crazy Apes and then all of the elementary classes, the lesson is based on Philippians 2 and the first portion of this storybook. The author, Kevin DeYoung, who wrote The Biggest Story and was part of the team that put together the curriculum, he first wrote this book, which is called The Biggest Story, How the Snake Crusher Brings Us Back to the Garden. The book itself is too long to read in a classroom setting like ours from start to finish, but the first chapter of this book introduces the idea that this big story is all about Jesus. And so we're using this as the basis of our lesson this week. And then in all of our kids' classes who are starting this new curriculum this week, they have a fun craft that's going to be provided, like the crafts typically are, and go along with the lesson. The craft itself is focused on the memory verse of the month. So we're going to have a few emphases as we go throughout this first year with our new curriculum. One is that the Bible is a big story that leads us to Jesus. So this emphasis on how we understand all of Scripture in light of Jesus. That's going to be one of our continuing emphases throughout the length of this curriculum, and especially this first year. Another emphasis will be our memory verse of the month. We want to encourage our kids to engage Scripture, to memorize Scripture. And so this week's craft is going to kick us into the year of focusing on our memory verse of the month. And then the third emphasis for this year is connection to home. The Biggest Story curriculum provides some excellent materials that can support families to talk about what their kids are learning about on Sunday. And so we'll continue to cycle those to our families to make our families aware of them and to encourage them to participate in learning along with us and learning this big story with us, and in encouraging our kids to memorize their memory verse at home. The craft for this week is a journal. Each of our kiddos will get a journal like this. They'll have a chance to decorate the front. We'll label it with their name for the younger ones. The older ones can put their own name on it. And part of the craft is going to be to affix a little pocket inside the notebook. And then they'll get their September memory verse of the month card this week. They can stick it in the pocket in their notebook, and they'll take this home And then the encouragement is that every time we have a new memory verse of the month and a new card, they'll take it home. They can use their journal. Some prompts that we'll give parents for the journal are to copy down the memory verse of the month in their journal. And they can tuck their cards for the year into this little pocket. And then our hope is that it's a fun, encouraging way to engage our kids in scripture memory throughout the year and to connect what we're doing in class as far as scripture memory to home. All right, if you have any questions, North Metro team, reach out to Lisa. South Broadway team, reach out to me. I'm excited about this curriculum. I think it will support what we already do really well in Fellowship Kids, and that it is very teacher friendly. It's easy to pick up and use, and we would love, as we get into it, your feedback to know how it's going in your classrooms.